Welcome. I'm your host, BruceRayWilson. Today we will be discussing how to use DataParallel on the SambaNova DataScale SN10-8 system. For those of you who are new to AI, I highly recommend Andrew Ng's Machine Learning and Deep Learning Specialization Certificates that are available on the Coursera website. I have divided this project into 4 different files: main, args, model, and other. As their names might imply, main contains the main method. You define your CLI arguments in args. Model contains the actual model, and other contains other. We will be working with a model that predicts numerals in the MINCE dataset. The network we will be using has a forward feed network followed by a logistics regression network. Okay, let's go ahead here and we're going to import distributed sampler. So it is located in torch.utils.data.distributed. I have written this code so that it works either with DataParallel or without, more specifically distributed data or without. To accomplish this, what I've done is that I'm utilizing the DataParallel argument that has been made available by SambaNova. That all happens automatically in the background. So if there is an argument, DataParallel, what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and we're going to initialize trained sampler to be equal to the distributed sampler, and we're going to pass in the trained data set. Okay, so this is only applicable to training. Distributed sampler deals with the shuffling of the data. So we actually set shuffle equal to false. If we're not using distributed sampler, what we're going to do is go ahead and set trained sampler to none and shuffle to true. When we are setting up the data loader, we've added a couple of things here. So we now have number of workers equals to 1. And then we have also added sampler equals trained sampler. We are now using a variable for shuffle as opposed to the last video that just set it to true. And you see up here, if we're not using distributed sampler, we're setting shuffle equals to true. Another item that has been added is drop last equals true. This is just in case that the size of the data set is not a multiple of the batch size. I have also added drop last equals true for the test loader. Let's now go down to the train method. So this is very, very simple. All we have done is we have added these 2 lines. Very straightforward, copy and paste. So we have DataParallel equals args.DataParallel, and we also have reduce on RDU equals args.reduce on RDU. And as I said before, these arguments are added automatically. You do not need to modify your args.file. So where do we actually use nn.dataParallel? The answer is we don't. SambaNova has taken care of all of this in the background. All we have to do is use that distributed sampler, and everything else is just automatic. It's just very simple, very straightforward. Everything that you've already added makes all of that possible. We have modified the other script. The other 3 scripts, main, model, and args, do not need any modification. Next, let's take a look at the shell scripts that we will be using. Here we have the compile script. Let's take a look at the second line. Here we're setting the number of OMP number of threads equals to 8. So this is done so that we have more threads so that the compilation of this script occurs more quickly. Here on line number 9, we're going to use the compile argument to compile the model. Here on line number 11, we're going to go ahead and echo how long that compile took. Here is the run script. So it does the usual items: compile, test, run, and measure performance. This script just does a standard run. It does not use DataParallel or the distributed sampler. Now let's take a look at how to run this with DataParallel. So here is our run DataParallel script. We have some more information in here than we do in the previous scripts. We're going to go ahead and name the model. Also, we're going to go ahead and set this tile affinity. So this doesn't guarantee which tiles will be used. However, as the name implies, an attempt will be made to use the tiles specified. Here, we are specifying tiles 6 and 7. Okay, so they're 0 indexed, and we're going to use numbers 6 and 7.
I received some reviewer feedback and was told not to use tile affinity within Slurm. I reassured him that I was only using it as an educational opportunity. Wink, wink, nod, nod. The correct place to use the tile affinity would be on the command line. If you were to use the tile affinity within Slurm, if somebody else was already using those RDUs, your job would fail. Additionally, when you start Slurm and you're using more than one RDU, you should tell Slurm how many you are using. You do this by using the --gress equals RDU : and then the number of RDUs that you want to use, followed by the script name and any additional arguments.
We're going to echo a little bit of information out here. Here we have a reminder that we have a separate compile script. So what we have here is that when we run, we're going to be using MPI. Now I happen to specify the host argument, and then I'm going to use SM-02. We specify the number of processors as 2, and then we go ahead and execute our script. We're going to use run with the DataParallel argument, and also the reduce on RDU argument. And then we also have to specify the location of the path. Okay, let's take a look at the next command. So next, it's pretty much the same, except for we're going to use measure performance. But the other arguments are pretty much the same. Let's see, we have DataParallel, reduce on RDU, and we specify the path file. So this is the script that you use for DataParallel.
So we're going to use Slurm to queue these jobs. Will be sbatch compile.sh. And then let's go on to the second one, which again will be using sbatch and then run.sh. And then lastly, we'll use sbatch data_parallel.sh. And these commands will queue up the jobs and they will execute on the system. So there we have it. How to use DataParallel with the SambaNova system. Bottom line is you don't. You just use the distributed sampler. The people at SambaNova have made this quite simple. We greatly appreciate that. Speaking of such, I'd like to give a shout out to Rick and Craig of SambaNova for providing information that went into this video. The repo used in this video is located at https://github.com/BruceRayWilson/SambaNova_starter. It is on branch feature /100-data-parallel.
And remember, learn something new every day. Bye-bye.